Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to the first ever tutorial I've ever done in my entire life. So, I'm gonna show you how I do an emote. I'm just gonna draw it real quick and then I'll get back to you guys. Just want to introduce to you how I color things. Mainly like emotes, or it's like a simple flat colored commission. Yeah, so I'll see you in a second and we'll discuss how to color. Okay, welcome back. Yeah. So this is what we're going to be coloring today, and I'm going to show you how I would normally shade like an emote or whatever. So first off, I want to point out that I'm using Clip Studio Paint. I forgot to mention that in my intro. So, you know, I don't know if things are different for Photoshop or Paint Tool SAI or anything else that you might be using, but when I usually do coloring, I have like a whole layer. Like, I'll zoom in on it when I edit it, but right here is the skin layer. I pretty much put just like a base skin tone on like everything, and then it also has like this cool little feature where it clips the layer below. So let's say if I was coloring in something pretty crazily, like I was like, you know, red, it wouldn't go out of the line, right? That's what that basically does. Like the second you take it off, then yes, it goes outside of the line. So that's what I recommend using, especially when you're coloring things. Above it is my multiply layer, which is pretty much the third option in Clip Studio Paint. And I use it for my shadows, and almost everything. I'm addicted to it now, so if I decide not to do that one day, then, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. But, yeah. I usually color code everything because it makes it a little bit easier for me. But anyways, yeah, we're on the multiply layer. So you usually just want to go around, and that's too dark. Sorry, I was doing the demonstration, I forgot. You want to go around and get to areas that are usually shaded. So for anime characters, you kind of like do it under the hair, because that's basically usually where the shadows go. So you just do like a little bit of a what's the word? Go around. You do a little go around. You go all around the face, which you don't always have to do. I just like doing it because it looks cool. I don't know. I usually just start with one area at a time, and then I move on to different areas. We want to get under here, under the well, on the neck rather. And just, you know, shade that. Shade everything that would not be being touched by like light or anything. And you can use a darker shade, especially in areas that are literally not being touched by light or they're being covered, which is what I like doing. Right now I'm just gonna use the same tone just to keep it a little bit easier. Same with the hands, although I do try to be a little bit aware of where I'm putting my shadows. I say this as I'm like putting it like anywhere. I try to think about a bit like an area where light would really be shining from, and since she's like kind of looking like this way, then I want to keep it, the shadows, actually I fucked this up already. I want to keep the shadows coming like in this direction where I'm actually like painting right now. Let me fix that. See, I tried to record before, like over something I was already coloring, and I just could not think, so I thought it would be easier if I did it while I was actually drawing. So yeah, maybe in the future I'll probably do it differently, because I don't know how difficult this is going to be for some people to follow. But yeah. So I just go around shading everything that you would think is not touching light. It's a little harder on white hair because it's not like... It's really hard to show. So you have like an easier time on like maybe like black or red hair, or I don't know. I find it's easier with actual colors other than like white. But you know, it's my problem with liking white hair. It's it's a little hard. So for hair, it's a little bit different. I'm only doing like a base shading, and then afterwards I'll show you what I do for the rest of the hair. And hair is my worst, like, area for me whenever I'm drawing. I always hate doing hair. So, and even then, even if I made everyone bald, it would still be difficult. Okay. Okay, so I'm starting to get to the point where I think that we can kind of like amp it up. Or actually, no, we do need to get the shirt finished. So I'll just do this real quickly, and then I'll see you in a moment. So I select all the areas with the skin. I make a new layer right above the skin layer. So it's separate from everything else, so I don't make a mess. So then I get like a light yellow, which ends up being too dark, and you'll see that in a second. Or sorry, too colorful, too yellow. I didn't like the fact that it looked so yellow. I liked like the little bit like right here, like a light, almost white yellow on this, like the face or around the hands too. I usually do this on, well, anything I draw now because it looks so good. It pops everything out. Okay, so I make a new layer. I make it green because that for me means it's screen. It's the screen layer, and screen makes everything light. I use this for highlights and such. So if you were to take, say like the pigment for the skin, it would then make it lighter than what it's hard to explain. See, like for green, I just selected the base color, and I kind of turned it to yellow to make it pop out a little bit more. You never really want to do just in the same family of the color, right? So if you're doing green, you can move your color wheel a little bit towards yellow, or in between, and it makes like a nice pop. Same as like if you're shading, don't ever really use black or like white or gray or whatever. You want to use like color, different shades of color. And I guess I'll make like another a smaller demonstration of this like later. But for right now, I'm just showing you guys how I do emotes, because there's way too much to discuss and why I do certain things. So here I'm fixing the hair because I didn't notice, like on my tablet it doesn't show any of these imperfections, so I always have to make sure on my other monitor what I'm messing up or what doesn't look right. And you want to do that too. You always want to double check and even flip your canvas. I don't really think I do it in this. Also, yes, hello. I decided to switch to actual recording instead of putting it on the actual video or recording it as I was doing it because I just couldn't think of anything right. So right here, I'm trying to add the highlights to the hair. I then realized that it's kind of hard to do it because it's white. So it's already the lightest it's ever going to be. So I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to make the whole entire hair grayish and go off that way, because then it'll be easier to highlight it and it will look even better. So I know this looks like just straight gray, but that's how our eyes are kind of like tricked into it. It's like a bluish gray. So even then, like, I'm not really using just a flat unsaturated color. I'm using like a light blue, like a very unsaturated blue. Okay, so here I'm just, selecting all the hair. I'm trying to make it a little bit, sorry, I heard something outside. I'm not done with the shading, so I'll go back to the screen layer and go back to airbrush and start airbrushing the sides of hair that I think will be popping out towards the light. Since her hair is kind of like just all over the place, I pretty much just do it all over the place, So I do on the sides with her like little pigtail things. You kind of just be generous with it. but not over generous, because then it'll just look really blurry and cruddy. So now I start to try to add highlights, like minor highlights, little shines, makes the hair look really good. I go straight up to just pure white and then, you know, go back over it, kind of just apply all the highlights everywhere. I apply it on the edges and, well, towards the light, so it looks a little bit more, I don't know, exciting. It pops out. Okay, so we're gonna finish up the hair here, just adding a little bit more highlights in places I think that they fit. So now I'm onto the eyes, and I go to my airbrush, just like one of my favorites for like simple shading. I tried the pink just to see if it would look pretty cool, and didn't quite like it, so I went down to like a lighter blue. And I'm on my screen layer, so make sure you're on the right layer, because it might look weird if it's not. So I just add like a little bit of a shine to it, add some life to the eyes. I grab this and I shade the antlers and make them bright because they're supposed to be glowing. I messed up there because I was on the wrong layer. You always want to make sure, again, get on your screen layer or else it's going to mess up. I just make everything glow. It's pretty simple for the antlers. I don't do too much with them because they're going to be small and it's going to be an emote, so you don't want to spend too much time giving details to certain things if they're going to be very small. So I just kind of apply the highlights to the little bands around her hair. Pretty simple, pretty simple. This is where I like to go under the eyes and just apply like kind of like a yellow, make it a little bit more lively, like a little bit of yellow-orange. But then I decide, you know, screw this. I'm just gonna select the entire thing and then I'm gonna just add the blush. Because it's a shy emote, you know, and when you're shy, you blush. Or at least I do. Alright, so this is where I start applying everything. I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll just make it a blush instead of just trying to do like the yellows under the eyes because it'd be too much. It would it'd be too hard to look at. So I think about it and about making the blush the entire face. I'm like, no, let's not do it. Let's just apply it to the center of the face. Add a little bit more red, a little bit more vibrant. You can go a little bit more vibrant depending on how much attention you want to draw to a certain part of your drawing. I don't know why I decided to do this here. I wanted to add like some kind of a highlight to make it a little bit more cutesy. I tried to do it to the center and like add a white and stuff like that, but it just looked weird, so I decided to undo all that. Undo is my favorite button. See, again, trying it did not work out. You know, that's the whole thing about drawing and coloring, is that you have to try different things, because the undo button's your best friend. So here I just decided to add like little white highlights, which I love doing because I don't know, it just looks really cute. They look really shiny. Okay, so the next layer I decided to select, or take my lasso tool and select it around the eyes. So we're gonna do like a reflection effect. This adds to the drawing by making it a little bit more realistic. I mean, even though you know it's not realistic, it still like adds life to the eyes. So you get like a light blue. And you kind of just, you take your airbrush and you kind of, you know, brush it along. Don't worry, we're gonna take the eraser tool, add it, make it soft, like make the brush soft, and then we just kind of go around the edges, and then lower the lower the opacity, and bam, there you go. Looks already very interesting, better than what it was before. So now we're going to select around the shirt and all that. We're gonna grab the airbrush again and then go into the multiply layer and go into a, like, I think I went with purplish here, like it was more purple. Yeah, I did. And then just do the bottoms. This is a nice effect. Usually my emotes have that, is like a little gradient on the bottom, which adds a little bit more of a flair. I don't know, I kind of like it. There's no real reason I do it, and it's not really logical because, you know, I'm not thinking about light source here. I'm just thinking this is gonna look cool. So we switch a little bit to the red. And before, like, I do it so fast. I make a new layer on top of my line art layer, and then I click the little clip layer above it. So then I can color the lines and make the mouth red, because I don't like leaving it black. It just looks weird to me. So here I'm just selecting around, and I inverse it, because now I'm gonna add my finishing touch, which is the gradient, the little sunset gradient. And then I click overlay, and then bring it all the way down to like around like 40, 48. And it adds like a cute little touch to it. You know, now we gotta get rid of the blue background, and our emote is done. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I know it was kind of all over the place. But I hope you learned at least something, and if not, then I'll try to remake this or make it a little bit more clean and prepare more, because that's my first time ever making it. But, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later.